Hey guys, what is up? It is Cedar Flags here, and today I will be doing my first ever park review, and I decided to do it on Seaworld Orlando, which is of course located in Orlando, Florida, and I gotta say, I was very impressed by this park. I had really high expectations for this amusement park, and I think it even exceeded those. This is a truly outstanding park, and I definitely recommend it for anyone that is in the Orlando area, but let me talk to you about this park in my review of it. So, when you get to SeaWorld, it's a little confusing trying to get in the parking lot, but once you get in there and you get into the park, you are welcomed by this amazing scenery of a lighthouse with a pond, and that looks good already. You're not even in the park, you're actually in the park gate when you see all the scenery, and then you see all the rides and all the banners in front of you about SeaWorld, and it just makes sure that you're going to have an amazing day at this park. So, you get into the park, and I gotta say, I went right to the rides first. I decided to do rides near the beginning of the day, so let's talk about the rides at the park. You got Mako, you got Kraken, you got Manta, you got Journey to Atlantis, you got a couple kiddie rides, you got an observation tower. They're very fun rides. Mako actually made my top 5. It's my favorite roller coaster in all of Florida, and I gotta say, riding this front row at 10 in the morning was an absolutely outstanding experience. You get that sinking feeling when you go down that drop. It is a beautiful ride. Kraken is another kind of feel of a ride. This was the second ride that I rode that day. I did not do VR because I'm not a fan of roller coasters with VR on them. And I gotta say, this ride is very forceful. In my opinion, it's actually very underrated. Now, I don't know what you think, but as someone who's ridden Kraken front row, this ride is amazing. I actually grayed out on that loop after the mid-course brake run. And then we have Manta, the B&M Flyer in the park. Manta is a very fun ride. The ride was almost surreal to me. It was an amazing ride. And that pretzel loop, they're always wicked. This one was wicked. And the theming throughout the actual ride experience, you get a bunch of turns. You get some iconic turns that just splash all over you. It is an insane ride. And the theming and the queue of this ride in particular is awesome. It's all indoors. And it's a bunch of tanks. It's a bunch of aquarium tanks, and you're just going through it and seeing all this. It is an awesome experience, even in the queue. SeaWorld is one of the only amusement parks I've been to that's main focus isn't just rides. They also have shows, and I know the shows are, I guess you could say, very controversial, but I'm not getting into that. This is all about the quality of them, and I went to 2 of the shows there. I went to One Ocean, which featured Shamu with other orca whales, and I also went to this dolphin show called Dolphin Days. I was very impressed by both of them, especially the Dolphin Days one. Going into One Ocean, I gotta say, I grew up, near Geauga Lake, which was also a home of SeaWorld, Ohio, and my parents got to go there a couple times and see the Shamu show. Yet, I was too young to see it because the park closed before I got the chance. So, I decided, let's go see the Shamu show. It was very fun in my opinion. I loved seeing all the whales jump out of the water and seeing Shamu. It was an amazing experience. And the Dolphin Days show, I gotta say, I was more impressed by that just because it is kind of underrated compared to Shamu, but I guess Shamu's kind of the main mascot of SeaWorld. So, Dolphin Days just has a bunch of dolphin tricks. It's a very cool show. So, let's get into food. This is a very strong point when it comes to SeaWorld. SeaWorld has a lot of food from different cultures. I went to this one restaurant in the Antarctica section that had food from America, Chinese food, Mexican food. It was awesome. I just got American food because, I wasn't really in the mood, I guess you could say, but, yeah. So, I got the all-day dining pass, which you could eat and drink all day for free, which was, I've got to say, it's a good deal. It's basically an all-you-can-eat for everything in the park, and I'm talking about everything. So, let's talk about, I guess, some of the weaker points of the park. I gotta say, a very weak point of the park was the park's layout. Because if you go to parks like Cedar Point and Kings Island, the layouts of the park are very wide and vast. What I mean by that is, they have very wide paths, and you could see everything around you. SeaWorld Orlando, their paths are about as wide as your high school hallway. They are not that wide, and plus they have buildings and walls really close to them, so you really don't see where you're going most of the time. It actually took me 10 minutes to find the Manta Entrance when I was in the structure of Manta. So, that's not really a strong point. But I gotta say, one good thing about the layout is you're going through all this theming. Talking about theming is very strong for this park. Orlando has amazing themed amusement parks, and this is an example of that. This is probably, besides Disney parks, probably the most themed park I have been to. I was very impressed by the theming of rides like Mako and Manta. Kraken, I had okay theming. But the rest of the park itself, especially that Antarctica part of the park, it just has amazing theming. And I gotta give the Seaworld / Busch Gardens company some credit for that. They really do good. All the Busch Gardens and Seaworld parks, amazing theming. So, that was basically my day. We ate, we rode rides, we had an amazing time. The operations were great, especially on Mako. But Kraken, its capacity was a little decent. But I gotta say, all the rides, the food, the entire day was a very fun experience. I like how they have that zoo marine life kind of theme with it too. They had other shows that weren't open that day because of conditions. And it stormed at 5 o'clock, so I had to leave at 5. I was there for around 8 hours, and I gotta say, those 8 hours were the highlight of my trip. I definitely recommend this park. You could take everything in a day if everything's open, and I just gotta say, this is an outstanding park. I'd give it a 5 stars easily. It has a couple weak points like the layout, but still, this park is beautiful in every single way possible. And if you make it out there someday, let me know how it is. And if you've been there, well, let me know how you thought of it. This is Cedar Flags, and I'll see you later.